I really don't know how we got here, guys, but we did. And this episode 130, is all about your mid-year check-in. We are at mid-year. Let's really knuckle down and have a look at what we've achieved and what we still need to achieve going forward in 2021. Hey, welcome to the Small Business Made Simple podcast, brought to you by socialmediaandmarketing.com.au. Being in business is never easy, but it can be simple, or at least simpler. Join me, your host Jen Donovan, every week where we focus on marketing, social media, and working towards simplifying your business. You with me? Let's do this.
Gonna dream it big, 'cause someone out there listening. Everyone's got a voice to give, and it's time I heard you whistling, 'cause there's no point at all, in dreaming small.
Hey there, my fabulous listener. Welcome to episode 130 of the Small Business Made Simple podcast. Thank you, as always, for lending me your ears today. There's lots of choices out there, and I really do appreciate you making me one of them. If you're a first-time listener to the podcast, then welcome, super welcome to you. And if you're a return listener, then hey, thanks for joining me again today. I'm really so happy for you to come here and listen to this episode, especially because we are doing a mid-year check-in. Yes, we are in week 26 of 2021 at the time of recording this podcast. I am all about helping you make marketing a priority in your business, and I think checking in with your goals is one really great way of making sure that you are making marketing a priority in your business. If you want some more help making your life a little bit simpler, then I have a group on Facebook called the Like-Minded Business Owners. I'd love you to come and join in the conversation there if you haven't already. Simply just go to Facebook, search Like-Minded Business Owners and click join and come and join the community. It's a fantastic community. Of course, you can find the link also in the show notes, which are at socialmediaandmarketing.com.au/130. Like I said, we are officially at the time of this recording in week 26 of 2021, and it's been a very wild ride. Yet again. Actually, it's been like this for the last 18 months for many small businesses. But you're here, we're here together, and we're going to have a chat about some goals and check in with ourselves for this mid-year check-in. It's the end of the financial year as well, of course, so it's a great time to check in with yourself, your goals, your lack of goals, and also really make some strategic decisions for the back half of 2021 and, of course, beyond to make it a huge success. I know that that's what I've been doing inside my business, but let's start off with a couple of questions that might actually help you get into the spirit of a mid-year check-in. So questions like, what goals did you achieve this year? What are you still working towards in your business? What goals are you still working towards? And are your goals still relevant, still important, and importantly, still achievable with everything that's going on in business at the moment, but also how quickly time seems to be ticking by? I guess maybe we should have really started with the question of, where are your goals? Like, where are your goals? Where do you hide your goals, or where are your goals for your business? Are they in your head? Are they in a book somewhere? Are they on the computer? Or hopefully they're right in front of you in your daily workstation. Hopefully when you sit down at your desk, wherever that is, in your house or your office, there are goals sitting in front of you, because that's where they should be. They should be right in front of you so you can see them every single day. That way you don't forget what they are. Sometimes we set goals and we forget that we've actually set those goals, but somehow seeing them keeps you on track towards them, and also hopefully taking small but significant daily steps towards achieving them. I have goals such as doing a speaker reel. A professional speaker reel is one of my goals that sits up right in front of me every single day. It's taking longer than I'd hoped, But the goal is still there and it's right in front of me every day, so I don't forget it. I've made a myriad of excuses why I haven't done that goal, mainly the lack of the ability to be filmed on stage during lockdowns, but really they're just excuses. I simply just need to move my tail feather and get on with it. But I'd be really afraid that if I didn't have that goal sitting in front of me every day, that I'd forget about it. And to be honest, hand on heart honesty, I actually just took the first couple of steps towards getting that goal done just the other week. I actually opened up a Google Drive doc and put all my footage in there. So I kind of consider that step one, and I'll keep working on it because I will be continually reminded of it every single day. Another goal that I have, which sits in front of me every day, is to get 100,000 downloads for my podcast. It felt very big and hairy, audacious goal when I set it back in January, so 6 months ago. But every week when I do the podcast, when I send out an email and talk about the podcast on my social media and post into Facebook groups about it, that's me working towards my goal. Like I said, very small but significantly impacting steps. So they don't need to be goals that, they might be big, hairy, audacious goals, but what are the little daily steps you can take to help you get those goals? Like I said, small steps. So take out your goals wherever they are, print them or write them on sticky notes, whatever, but just get them in front of you, front and center, where it is that you work every single day so that you know the goals, you know where you are heading. I often quote, what's that saying? If you don't know what roads to take, any road will do. Well, if you're just coming to work or sitting down at your desk every day and just working, where is that taking you? Do you actually have a goal to say, I'm working on this because I want to achieve that? And yeah, you might have it in your head, but imagine how much more impactful it could be if it sat front and center and looking at you every single day. Well, actually, before we actually do that, I guess, before we do print them and write them on sticky notes or whatever, we really do need to ponder that question that I asked a little while back. The third question was, which are your goals still relevant? Are they still important? And are they still achievable? Because that's what we need to do. And of course, if they're not relevant or they're not achievable or they're not important, then we need to set new ones. We need to make sure that we are setting new goals for the back end of 2021 so that we can finish this year knowing we have achieved what it is that we set out for. I've actually done 3 of these podcasts now, and on self-reflection before I did this one, I was a little bit like, wow, this is the 3rd mid-year check-in I've actually done. So episode 26 was a mid-year check-in for 2019. Episode 78 was a mid-year check-in for 2020. And now, of course, episode 130 is the mid-year check-in for 2021. And I've also spoken about goal setting quite a few times on this podcast. So if you're interested in more mid-year check-ins, go and check out episode 26 or 78, of course. But the goal setting podcast, the one that you guys loved the most, or my listeners loved the most, was actually episode 48. So if you're sitting there, you're a little bit uninspired, you're a little bit goal dumpy, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but you're just not strategically driven or you're out of character at the moment, go and have a listen to episode 48. It was all about the year of saying yes. And it's one of my most downloaded podcasts. So it just might inspire you to help you not only set some goals, but set yourself up for the rest of 2021 and beyond. Of course, you can find any of these episodes that I talk about by just heading to your favorite podcast app, of course, or if you head to my website, socialmediaandmarketing.com.au, and then just put / and the episode number after that web address, it will bring them up. So, socialmediaandmarketing.com.au /26 /78, that will bring up the episode that I'm talking about here. But one of the activities I actually have really enjoyed doing, and not exactly professionally doing, but I have actually done it a few times recently, and it's called mind mapping. My client Joe from Expand Careers talked about it a lot last year in one of my mastermind programs, and Jules from Airtree Resort shared her mind mapping document with us all at the Women in Business retreat I had a few months back. So, do you do mind mapping? It's fabulous for getting all your ideas out of your head and onto paper in some sort of order under headings. I do a lot of brain dumps where I just write lists, but I find mind mapping is just a little bit more strategic than a brain dump, which is basically just letting the pen write and the words just come out of your head. It basically just looks like a lot of words on a page with lots of arrows, and probably doesn't make much sense to anybody else who's looking at it, but it is actually really good for the person who's creating it, because it's just getting everything out of your brain and onto a piece of paper. It doesn't matter what it looks like to anyone else. That's not the point. The point is that you will then be able to mind map your goals or mind map your strategic content and things like that. It's just one of those little things that I've found a little bit useful recently. It's a bit like vision boards, I guess. If you're not the type of person who has ever tried a vision board, again, maybe that is something that might really help you setting goals. If you're just feeling a little bit like you just can't quite set goals the way you would normally, then try mind mapping, or even try a vision board perhaps. Maybe I need some guests on this podcast to come and talk to us about mind mapping and about vision boards. I'll investigate that. But it's just another way of writing goals and being, having the things in front of you in a legible way for your brain and for you to work towards. And once, of course, you have your goals, no matter how big or how small those goals might be, you need to break them down. You need to break them down, like you need to break down your annual goals. And when I'm talking goals, they're not financial goals necessarily. Like, the 2 goals I mentioned to you before, they're not financial goals, but they're still my goals. I do have financial goals, but, it's important to just not only have financial goals. But of course, once we get our annual goals, we should really break them down into quarterly goals, and then into monthly goals, and then even into weekly and daily actions, so that you know how to get to that goal. So if you've got this big annual goal, what action do you need to take on a weekly basis or a daily basis to make sure that at the end of the period, whatever the period is, like the year or half a year that you wanted to achieve that goal in, that you've taken steps towards that. To help you with setting goals and reflecting back on, the year that's been and looking forward, I've decided to give you access to my goal planning workbook. This workbook is actually something I just normally use for my paying clients, but I feel really strongly about helping you have the best possible end to 2021 and, of course, then beyond. And I thought this resource could really help some of my listeners, so it could really help you. So I thought I'm just going to share it. So to get your hands on my goal setting or my goal planning workbook, all you need to do is to go to bit.ly, so bit.ly/goal planner 2021. Of course, you can find that link in the show notes at socialmediaandmarketing.com.au/130. Of course, you will have to exchange it for an email address. So if you go there, it will ask for your name and your email address. But I think that's kind of pretty fair. Working through this workbook can really help you so much with clarity on your goals and just about taking small daily or even weekly actionable steps to actually achieve them. The planner goes through questions like, what worked well this year? What are you most proud of? What do you want to do more of? What made you the least amount of money? Because let's face it, we're in business to make money. So what are you spending what activity are you spending so much time on, which actually isn't bringing in very much money? What did you absolutely hate working on? What did you absolutely love creating and working on? There's all those questions, as well as room to set, goals, annual goals and, quarterly goals and monthly goals, and then actionable weekly and daily steps. So it's really quite a comprehensive goal planner. So if you would like that, of course, just go to bit.ly/goalplanner2021. If you're setting new goals for the second half of 2021, despite, everything that's happening and maybe the unknown, we don't quite know what's next and what's around the corner, but we never really have, but we've coped in business so far, so good. Some of the most important things to remember are knowing why you want to achieve that goal. What's the financial benefit of the goal? What's it going to take to reach that goal? What's going to take in energy, commitment, resources, money, outsourcing? What's it going to take to achieve that goal? What's it going to mean to you and your business if you achieve it? And what does success look like to you? I know I'm just rambling off these questions. And so, maybe going to the show notes is really important for this episode and working through these questions. Because I can't encourage you enough to take some time, some mid-year time to reset your goals and to help you sort of refocus on what's important and what you really wanted to achieve at the end of 2021. But of course, regardless of whether or not you are going to go and reset your goals or you are a goal setter, and I really hope if you're not a goal setter that I shall convince you to be a goal setter, even if it's as simple as what I've got in front of me now, which is, like 14 sticky notes stuck up on a cork board, and they are my goals for the year. It doesn't need to be complicated. But of course, my little goal planner can really help set it out for you if you're stuck. But regardless, here's some pieces of advice around goal setting and looking forward to the end of 2021. The first one, which will come of no surprise to anyone who listens to me or my podcast at all, is make marketing a priority in your business. Stop making it if I've got time. Stop doing marketing when you've got time and strategically make time. Make it a priority. I promise you, you will see a shift in your business if only you make marketing a priority. Of course, we're at the end of the financial year, so take some time to look at the finances. Take some time. Don't wait for your accountant to come back with a profit and loss statement or a balance sheet or a cash flow statement. Actually take some time yourself. Spend half a day, half an hour, whatever it is, and actually look at your finances. What made you money? And what didn't make your money? And what would you like to change? Know what money you've earned and what money you haven't earned and how much effort and energy that money took to earn. Of course, we should always be concentrating on our money-making activities. And I should be doing a podcast very shortly about money-making activities. If you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed at the moment, then maybe cleaning up might help you just a small amount. For me, it's like messy desks, messy minds. So I need to keep my desk somewhat tidy, or I need to take the time to tidy it if I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed myself. So maybe have a look at your workspace and clean up your workspace. If you're anything like me, you've got 1,000 sticky notes everywhere. So, go through them, throw out the ones that don't count. And of course, that could be the same with your computer as well. If you've got lots of documents hanging out in places that you can't find them, spend some time cleaning up your computer files as well. Put your goals where you can see them every single day. Can't encourage you enough to do that. Maybe you could learn to delegate, or you could look at getting a VA to come into your business, so a virtual assistant to come into your business. I've had the amazing Amy Dorr on my podcast recently. The episode hasn't been released, but she's talking all about, where it is in your business that you could start getting some help and, what a virtual assistant might be able to do for you. So, maybe delegating is something that can be a goal for you for the end of 2021 as well. For me, delegating used to make me squirm and shake in my inner core, but I'm getting better at it. So it is a learned skill. You can learn to be a delegator. And if if you are finding it hard to keep yourself accountable, then have an unreasonable friend or have someone who will do a CEO day with you or something, an accountability buddy. In small business, I think accountability is underrated. If you can get someone who can keep you accountable to your goals or to what you said you would do this month, this quarter, this year, this half, whatever it is, then I think that could be one of the things that could shake and shape your business the most going forward. If you don't have one, then head into my Facebook group, Like-Minded Business Owners, and put your hand up and say to someone, who would like to be an accountability buddy with me, because I need an accountability buddy to move my business where I want it to go before the end of 2021. And if you're completely stuck and you feel like your challenges are just too much at this point, then book a discovery call with me. Let's have a chat. You can go to the show notes at socialmediamarketing.com.au and find the link down the bottom to book in a Calendly appointment with me. So book in a discovery call and let's have a chat about your goals and your struggles and your roadblocks and what's holding you back and how it might be that I can help. Anyway, guys, that is it for episode 130 and your mid-year check-in. I cannot believe, like I said at the very beginning, that we are here. I cannot believe that we are talking mid-year check-ins, but we are. So do your mid-year check-in. Spend some time in the next week. Block out 3 hours in your calendar and really allow yourself to look back to go forward. As small business owners, we are always looking for the next thing, what's next. But at this time of the year, at least we should be able to stop and start and just have a look back. Have a look back at what we've achieved. Give ourselves a bit of a pat on the back, reset, redo our goals, and move forward to the back end of 2021. I will, of course, be back next Thursday with another great episode that I hope will help you simplify your business in 2021. If you're enjoying the podcast, then please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and maybe even share with another superstar business owner who's doing the daily grind, who would really appreciate maybe a bit of accountability, but also maybe someone who can actually help them with their goals. And of course, if you're really enjoying the podcast, I would love a rating and a review to be left because I love creating this free weekly content, but I also love knowing that you love it. I will see you next week, my small business peeps, but as my opening song says, there is no point in dreaming small.
No time like the present. Tell it like you feel it, say it proud, be true, and let us see you for the star that you are. No point in dreaming small.
I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land, the Yorta Yorta people, on which I record this podcast and conduct my business today, and pay my respects to their elders, past and present. I extend this respect to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here with us today as well.